The thing I liked so much about this book was the subtle but powerful emotional through line. It's the thing that I connect with when I read any story is the emotional wavelengths. I love adventures, I love stories with heroes and villains and all that kind of stuff, but the stuff I always connect with is the smaller, more intimate things, the feelings that these characters are feeling throughout their stories. The message of the movie is that kindness can be a survival skill. Roz is an unrelentingly kind character. She's got this innocence and this drive to help that was programmed into her. But the more damage that she takes out on this island, in this wild place that she was never really designed to be, the more damage she takes, the better she gets. The more she learns. She doesn't turn bitter, she doesn't turn angry, and she doesn't give up. And I think that's the message from this movie that I hope everybody would take home with them and that would resonate with them, is that your character can withstand a lot and it can be better for it. There's an unspoken through line and theme of adoption, really, in this whole thing. The idea that you don't have to be the parent of something to be its mom or its dad or something like that. So Roz is struggling with this whole role of being a mother. She doesn't want it. She has to accept it against her will, and then she has to deal with it. And she slowly begins to feel like, well, maybe this little guy could possibly maybe be my kid in a way. In fact, right before Bret Bill flies away for the migration, she has a moment that I wrote into the script where she says, "Thank you for looking after my," and she catches herself and says, "for looking after Bret Bill." And so she almost said kid or my son or something like that. And it's a very actually very parental moment, because it's an examination of what does it really mean to be a kid and what does it really mean to be a parent.
Hello, bonjour.
Guten Tag, Hujambo. Hola. Congratulations on your purchase of a Universal Dynamics robot. I am Rosm7134. A Rosm always completes its task. Just ask. Just ask.
Kid had, in a lot of ways, one of the toughest jobs on the film. Bret Bill is a kind of a character, he's a good guy, he's earnest, he's innocent, and he could be the kind of character that is rather uninteresting and rather flat. He doesn't have like these traits that you can necessarily hold on to. When you're a good character, you can kind of fade away. But our very, very first recording session with him, I can't tell you how excited I was when we came out of that session, because I was like, oh my God, Bret Bill is incredible. His delivery and the depth of feeling that he could get into his voice was incredible. He brought Bret Bill to life. He made Bret Bill like sing and fly and be a real dimensional character that I cannot get enough of on screen. It's one thing for him to be on camera and be as appealing and talented as he is, but it's a whole other thing to be able to transmit that with just his voice into our character for our animators.
Processing. Do you need assistance?
Years and years ago, I dreamt of the idea of having a film that looked like it was illustrated, that looked like it was painted. Because there's something about analog art that is just, it can't be replaced. I started in the days of analog hand-drawn animation, and I'm really, really grateful for that because seeing people paint and create these things is like nothing else on earth. CG animation eventually got to the point where, we were all dazzled by it. And as a director, one of my favorite things that I got with CG animation is the ability to move the camera. Moving the camera in space is a huge part of storytelling. But one of the things that we lost was some of the details and the warmth that you get in these hand-drawn characters. So very early on, based on the look of the book and with the subject matter that we were working with, I had a concern that if we went with what is considered to be a traditional CG look, what we have all become habituated to as a CG look, might play too young. And I didn't want anybody to look at this film and feel like, oh, this is just for little kids. This is absolutely a film for everyone. Roz's design, one of the key things that I insisted on was that she not have too much articulation on her face. In general, I gravitate, and I think everybody gravitates towards robots that don't have a lot of stuff, like busy stuff going on in their faces. One exception might be the Iron Giant, who has a movable jaw, and I think he's beautiful. But C-3PO, R2-D2, all the robots from Forbidden Planet, they are just fairly blank, and so we project emotion onto them. And it's one of the things I love about Roz. She has enough going on that you understand that she's talking and speaking and all these things that she's feeling. It's a limitation that the animators went with and pushed them to places that were amazing. They had to play her as a pantomime character.